Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Jared Brandon.
Chris Graham.
Me, Todd Novak. And our super duper special guest this week,
Drew Swindle with Swindler Effects.
All right. Welcome, Drew. And
Hey, glad to be here.
yes, and welcome to all those listening around the globalness right now. We are glad you are here. And we're once again very thankful for your comments and your participation wherever we are, online, in the socials, in the email, and all the great messages and comments that we get from you. It's so very much appreciated. Yes! It's my favorite part of the week. Ooh!
Pizza.
Oh, helps it's Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, Jared, all he sees in his eyes is
Pizza.
It's like a cartoon where Chris and I both look like giant pieces of pizza, and we're like, "What are you looking at, buddy?"
We go get pizza at this place here in town after every podcast.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
heard.
keeps me coming every week.
You-
So.
Pizza is delicious.
Yes, Chris, you sound like you're in the other room.
Pizza is delicious.
Yes, he's a mastering engineer who hates being close to a microphone.
It's true.
You got microphobia.
I've got personal space issues.
Yes,
Yeah, I respect that.
True
I respect
story.
that.
yes, and we're gonna get into it. Anyway, do you guys have any like outstanding items, nudes items, things? Nope. Okay. We've got a table full of Swindler Effects pedals here, and man, that was a lot of fun. Tell you what. So,
Sweet.
yeah, we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But first, let's talk about what's going on in our music worlds this week. It's an extremely long hair, and there's two balds in here. What is going on,
Yeah.
Jared?
No, it's not for my house.
What the crap did he just pull out of that box?
I'm not the one
That
with
looks
daughters.
like something from the dryer.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a
That
hair.
That was not hair. That was wire.
What?
And it
I hope
probably
that
came
wasn't
from my
wire.
basement.
Oh, it was pickup. I was gonna
pickup
say
wire.
That was like a 3-foot long hair.
Yeah.
that I pulled
Yeah.
out of this.
Yeah,
Pickup
that's
box.
pickup wire. It made its way into this Swindler pedal box.
That would, that would
well,
have been
it
the long.
made its way out. No, okay,
Yeah.
Drew, don't worry. You're not.
Sorry, Drew. That's not enough copper to take to the to the recycling.
Oh, I thought I lost some hair in one of my boxes and y'all got it. Sorry.
No, it's copper.
Yeah. Okay, so, Jared, music world this week.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Tell you what.
Yeah. So I went to the tax guy and I was told that I had to pay out a lot of money for taxes because of taxes and things that you have to pay for. And I'm not going to go into that. So,
You kind of just did, though.
well, everybody pays taxes. It's just, I'm a fine, outstanding, tax-paying citizen. Okay? So anyway, it's a lot of money, and I got down and blue about it, so I decided to buy a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
A 1964 Gibson SG Special in all original condition. Very clean, and I'm basically getting it from
And the original actual good case, not the
good case.
chipboard
Yeah,
case.
the original owner that bought the guitar sprung for the expensive, nice hard case, which is a black pebble Gibson case with the yellow interior inside. Those things go anywhere from $300 to $600 asking price on those, and they get it too. They get that, depending on the condition of the case.
It's that bright yellow on the
It's
inside.
a bright yellow on the
That's cool.
inside.
I like
yeah.
those.
And it's got. I haven't seen it yet, so
Well, you saw the pictures.
I saw the pictures. But when you buy something, when you invest in something, and you buy it, but you don't have it yet, that in between time
It's awkward.
is that. Well, it's that anticipation that just grabs at your soul and your heart, and that just it makes you go on the computer.
You're actually talking about pizza right now, though, aren't you?
No, man, this guitar. So you just keep looking at those pictures over and over again because all you have running through your head is, man, I can't wait to get it. I can't wait to get it. And I have until Wednesday, so about 5 days yet till I get it.
And that's a hardtail, right?
Yes, it's the hardtail. It's the guy who had it had one of those bridges that you could actually intonate. If you have the third string that's not wound. See, back in the 60s, all your third strings were wound. And now they're not. So
some of them are still wound. I honestly, I can't use an unwound third string. It just doesn't work when I play guitar.
Jeez, I'm the total
You play
opposite.
a lot of acoustic guitar, though, too.
Yes,
so I'm
used to a wound third.
Yeah. But what happens is guys use the unwound third on these old bridges, the original bridges, and it doesn't stay in tune right because it's not in the right position. So the guy put on an aftermarket thing and slightly shaved the pickguard a little bit. Well, unbeknownst to him, those things go anywhere from $175 to $250 in original condition, after or on internet price or whatever. So that's the only thing that bothers me a little. However, if I want to use an unwound third, I can just stick that bridge on there because it does come with the guitar.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited and jonesed up about this thing.
That bridge is actually the intonated bridge, so you don't have a bridge and a tune-o-matic.
Correct.
It's just
all you have is just
the wraparound.
Yep. Two P90s,
really
two
cool.
volume, two tone.
I wish I could put that on my special.
Binding around the neck. I mean, it's just a gorgeous guitar. The neck profile is my favorite.
So I said to Jared, I said, dude, why are you getting another? You've got two SGs. He goes, oh, no, I got way more than that.
And I do.
Why do you have so many SGs?
I don't know how many I have. I need this guitar for my business. I need a vintage guitar to compare my product with. So
yeah, hey, whatever you got to tell yourself, that's okay, man. You're not going to get any argument from us.
That's why I need the guitar.
Okay, I get you. Hey, Drew, why don't you tell us what you're up to, buddy?
Oh, I'm with you actually on the tax side of things, man. Yeah, so last years before that, it was all so small that we just kind of did it in our individual personal taxes and all that, but trying to do it right, separate it and all. But other than that, just building a lot. Got some dealer orders I'm trying to get out, trying to finish up a new design.
So are you, and hopefully you'll be able to tell us about that new design a little bit or something, maybe?
Yeah. We've teased it and talked about what it is, and it's no secret really. We just don't know when it's coming out yet. Not exactly.
Okay. You gonna tell us what that no secret is?
Oh, you want to know now?
I mean, yeah, tell everybody.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a 4-channel programmable true bypass looper.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, so
that sounds awesome.
The goal with that is to make a looper that was not so complex, man. Like you get people who have programmable loopers and they have all the bells and whistles. They take a lot of power. They're super large, and I didn't want all that. So this is a small 4-channel. It's actually a little bit smaller pedal board real estate than your standard overdrive enclosure. All those pedals that you've got there of mine, it's actually a little bit smaller as far as pedal board real estate goes than those.
Wow.
But it's a little bit taller to fit the double rows of jacks in the back. But yeah, so you got 2 banks of presets with 4 presets each. You can program any switch to turn on any of the loops.
Wow, that's cool.
It's going to have the only kind of feature it has other than the programmable side and the live activation side is it will have a switchable buffer that's before any of the loops. So you can switch that on or off if you want it. But yeah, so yesterday I got what I'm hoping is the final revision on the circuit boards for those. All the other revisions have worked great. It's just kind of very minor tweaks, mainly to make it easier to build and make it more solid.
Wow. That sounds like a mental headache to try to figure out how that works, but I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love the programming side of things as much as I do kind of the analog circuitry design.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get more into implementing some of that.
Awesome, man. Sounds rad.
Yeah,
do you know what you're going to call it?
Yeah. We've got a couple of pictures up on our Instagram where we've kind of explained it. It's going to be called the Nexus 4 for the 4 channels. And we have tentative plans of expanding that to more numbers after Nexus. So
the Nexus 32.
Maybe not so much, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. That sounds super fun. Chris, what's going on?
So I started taking guitar lessons as a 34-year-old man recently. I had my first one a week and a half ago.
Can we establish that you are a very good guitar player already?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think you're pretty decent too.
Thank you. I've been playing for 21 years or so, and used to do it professionally, but this guy I'm taking lessons from specializes in fingerstyle. And so that is something I'm not super competent at, and he's been kicking my butt with Spanish stuff.
Oh, like Django stuff?
Ish. Like older than Django.
Oh, gypsy jazz, man. I do like a good gypsy jazz.
It's been cool. He lives right down the street from me, so it's a minute to get there, and
Right.
I'm going every 2 weeks, and it's been really cool.
So he teaches finger style? Mm-hmm. My teacher teaches Cobra style.
Nice.
Yeah, I started taking lessons about 5 or 6, 7 years ago. I had about 5 lessons, and I learned a whole new, little thing that I added to my little repertoire that I go through when I pick up a guitar. So good for you, man. That's pretty smart, actually, to get out of the box that you've been in for so long.
Yeah.
You need to expand.
It's felt very healthy to, when I sit down with this guy, to just be like a child and just be like, I'm so terrible at this, and it's embarrassing, and I kind of like that. So it's been nice.
Yeah, I think it'd be. I like the idea of learning styles, different styles. It's a good idea.
I'd love to take jazz lessons at some point.
Yeah,
too. That's what I typically listen to in my free time.
Pretty difficult.
Yes, it is.
Jazz is,
Yeah.
So, Drew, have you ever taken formal lessons?
I wouldn't call them formal necessarily. I did take a couple lessons for a couple years, but they were pretty weak, to be honest. They weren't really foundational scales, chord structures, anything like that. They was more like, bring a song in that you like, and I'll kind of teach you how to play it, which is fun. But I wish I would have gotten a little more theory and actual foundational knowledge as far as that goes. But I'm pretty much self-taught after that, and I would say I am mediocre at best. So honesty there.
Yeah, I've said many times I'm a self-proclaimed hack, not saying that with pride. Just I got to be real with myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
I can't read.
What about you?
Well,
there it is.
How long have we been doing this? I mean,
oh my God, I
Pete's
can't
sakes.
because I interrupted you before, and I'm like, hey, what about you? And you're like, why are you interrupting me?
When did I do that?
It was a couple of episodes ago, and I'm like, because I
probably
want to
did.
know what's new in your guitar world.
So last week I purchased a fuzz kit from Mammoth, an op-amp fuzz, which I was very excited about. And then right after that, I found on Craigslist a Big Muff Pie with a tone wicker on it. Nice. And I was like, I'm going to lowball and see what, and I mean, not totally lowball. I wasn't like a jerk about it or anything, but I got it for a pretty impossible to pass up price. So nice. I was like, okay, I realized I just bought 2 fuzz pedals in one. So I went and got it, and I was really excited. And then I smashed the inside of my finger, and it hurt really bad. So I was like, well, not going to be playing this right now.
That's the worst. When you have a bruise on your finger, and then you go to fret a string, and it hits the bruise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I've been there.
I also hurt my finger. I drilled right through well, not through my finger, but a pretty good size hole, and I'm hoping I don't have to get stitches or anything. But there it is. Right
That's a
there.
decent hole.
That's you could sharpen a pencil in that, bro.
Yeah, I just have to, put stuff in it, like antibiotic type stuff
Like
or
Chex
whatever
Mix
it is.
or
Yeah.
okay.
An eraser. Fill in the hole. I don't know.
All right. That was a bunch of nonsense. So, anyways, here we.
Hey, you disclaimer that.
I know.
Right.
But wait, what's that sound I hear? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. That's right. It's 4 on the floor. So Drew has come prepared, and he's got 4 on the floor for us. So let's get through these.
All right. So my number one would probably be any sort of tube screamer sort of circuit. 808 to be particular. I feel like the ones I've tried, I like that style better. Maybe to cover a lot of ground, I'd be interested in trying something like the Earthquaker Palisades, something that just like covers all your bases.
That's a tasty pedal.
Yeah, get a lot of options out of that.
Made here in Ohio, actually.
Mm-hmm.
See, for my second,
just out of curiosity, so like when you're running that particular kind of overdrive, I'm imagining you're running it pretty low. Like what do you really like about that?
At least in the ones that I like, I enjoy stuff that is goes with your picking dynamics really well.
Okay.
That it's more gainy as you hit it harder. Because typically in my setup, I'll run a tube screamer always on. At least the pedals I've tried gain like halfway up, maybe. And I usually find I can just dial back on my picking attack, get it as clean as I need it to, or I can slam it hard and it'll pretty much do anything I need it to, at least in the context I'm playing at. Sometimes I'll just like stack another one on top or some sort of boost on top if I need something for more of a lead line, but it pretty much does what I need.
That's awesome.
Nice.
All right. What do you got for number 2?
Number 2, I would probably say I just love my timeline, Strymon timeline. I had an L cap before. I probably like the sound of that one a little bit better in certain situations, but the timeline has so much functionality and flexibility and just options that you can get to on the fly that I don't think I could live without it at this point. Yeah, and I would have never bought one. I'm actually very cheap, so I never would have bought one. I never would have bought one outright, and I had the L cap, and I built a favorite switch for it, and I was scrolling through the forums, just seeing what was out there, some classified pages, and someone was looking to downsize, and they were trading a timeline for an L cap with a favorite switch.
Oh wow!
And he said straight trade, no cash included. And I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, okay, I'll message this guy. So I checked it out, and he was like, "No, just a straight trade. I don't need anything extra." And I was like, "Well, shoot, if I don't like it, I'll just sell it and buy another L cap." You know, at that point, I can't lose. So
yeah,
I tried it out, and I've had it for 3 years now, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so would that lead you to get more Strymon stuff, or I mean, I guess you're making them, so you don't. There's only so many pedals that you actually need to buy, but
no, it did, and yeah, we'll probably get to that. That'll be my third, actually.
Okay, well, let's do it. What's number 3, Drew?
Yeah, my third is going to be the Strymon Blue Sky.
Holy moly!
Wow.
You got a mortgage on that board, bro.
Yeah, you do.
Didn't we hear Blue Sky before in a different 4 on the floor?
No.
Huh. Okay, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Well, it's not the Big Sky. Now the Big Sky is a whole nother animal. That guy's nuts. I can't justify that. I just feel like it's all going to sound the same when it gets in the mix. I may be wrong about that, but I don't want to devote the board real estate to something like that either, or my bank account.
Yeah.
So the Blue Sky, I've just got like a light reverb setting and a super heavy reverb setting on the favorite switch. Done. That's all I need.
Nice.
Perfect.
Now, are you doing
like
Hillsong type lead guitar stuff? Is that where these pedals come into play here?
Yeah, that sort of style for sure.
Cool.
We don't play much Hillsong, but yeah, that's the idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, when you first said that, I was thinking Big Sky too, and so I was like, man, that's a lot of real estate and a lot of.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were thinking, and a lot of people do run both. That's kind of the stereotypical board setup for kind of the praise and worship world, to be honest. But it's unnecessary for me. So Timeline's great. I dig that one, but Blue Sky is all I need for that.
Well, let's see what's behind door number 4.
Door number 4, I actually don't have. I've never played, but I'm getting to be a little bit of a chorus vibrato junkie. Or at least I'm very intrigued by it.
You need a stereo. Everybody needs a stereo chorus pedal.
What? He hasn't even. Did you get a stereo chorus pedal?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because most people don't need a stereo chorus pedal.
Yeah, everybody needs one.
Go ahead, Drew.
But yeah, I haven't been able to try any. There's no place to really try out stuff in Birmingham. It's not a huge music town, much less a music gear town.
Mm-hmm.
So I really have not had the opportunity to try a bunch of stuff I would love to try.
Mm-hmm.
But look into something simple. I've been thinking about picking up something like the Walrus Audio Julia, something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pedal a lot.
So I've been really looking to get something like that.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for your 4 on the floor, man.
Yeah, nothing too flashy or crazy, but that would work great for me.
But that's what this is about. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other segment, like pedals you totally don't need but have. I don't know. That was pretty silly of me, but sorry about that, everybody. So let's see. We're talking to Drew Swindle. And it's hard because we know the product, and it's hard not to say the full thing. You probably get called Swindler a lot, right?
I get it a lot. Yeah, that's not actually my name, but
yeah. So Drew Swindle from Birmingham, Alabama. Here you are, and I'm really excited. I was extra excited when you sent us the giant box of pedals. I mean, it wasn't giant, but it was a box of pedals filled with boxes of. It was amazing. So we got 5 pedals that we get to play with, and we'll talk about them here. And first of all, Chris, would you read off the pedals that we have in front of us, just so we have some reference for those who are listening?
We have the Iron Comp, the Workers. Wait, no, that's wrong. The Iron Drive, the Workers Comp, the Mine Shaft, the Red Mountain, and the Magic City.
Yes. And so that's a whole pedal board right there, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Drew.
Yeah.
I always love to find out how you kind of got started in the thing. So we're gonna start there. How did you get started in guitar, buddy?
In guitar or in building pedals?
And just a quick, brief dive into your history as a guitar player.
Guitar. I started playing guitar when I was 5th grade. I was in middle school, and the high school jazz band came and did some sort of concert for us middle schoolers, trying to recruit people to be in band. But it was not the full jazz band. It was like just the rhythm section. So it was like literally a rock band. It was guitar, bass, and drums. And I was like, yes, I want to do that, please. Mm-hmm. So I saw that. I picked up guitar, and I started playing drums and percussion in actually the middle school band at the same time. So 5th grade, flash forward to 7th grade, and my youth worship band was having tryouts for who wanted to be involved in that music. And for whatever reason, there were like 4 people trying out on drums and no one trying out on electric guitar. And I was like, well, I'm equally terrible at both, but I want to play, so I'll do guitar.
Nice.
So that's I started playing guitar there. Did that all through high school. Went to Tuscaloosa for college, and did it all through college as well with some other groups. Traveled around the Southeast a little bit, doing kids, youth camps, and college retreats, and that sort of scene, and different church services around the Southeast. And came back to Birmingham after graduating college and got it plugged into a church here and do the same thing with a different group of people. So.
Oh, cool.
And I'm 26 and been playing since I was about 12.
Yeah, you got started pretty early there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your first guitar? Do you remember?
Squire Strat Pack, man.
Not bad. Did you get it for Christmas or birthday or?
Oh yeah, I got it for Christmas. Well, my birthday is actually New Year's, so it's always kind of combined.
Yeah.
So
I'm a little before Christmas.
One of those kids.
Yeah.
Take your pick, but it was a Christmas present.
Nice.
That's cool. And do you have what's your favorite guitar right now?
Well, my favorite guitar, my baby is a Gretsch 6118T. It's the two-tone green from like the 50s Cadillac. It's kind of got a lighter green on the front and like a forest green on the sides and back.
Yeah.
Man,
I
so you
love
are a
that thing.
huge Hillsong fan. That's
Does
awesome.
he use?
What is
Does he use one of
Hillsong?
those?
Yes, he does. They're this Australian. Am I right there? New Zealand.
Yes, they're Australian. I'm not sure what he uses. I know.
He uses a Gretsch.
I know old James Duke uses the same guitar that I play, and that was kind of a cool realization. But,
That's awesome.
Let's be honest.
Hillsong is like it's like a worship collective that has like bands out of Australia.
Okay.
But they're how shall we say their standard of quality is through the roof.
Okay.
For particularly like ethereal kind of reverby guitars.
Oh, okay.
Like it's awesome. It's world class.
That's
in,
cool.
in that regard.
yeah, for sure.
Nice. So you have you said, well, my favorite which would lead me to believe that you got a couple others. Tell us about a couple others you got.
I've only got I don't stockpile a lot of stuff because, like I said, I'm cheap and I've only got 3 guitars. But my Gretsch is my favorite, and I played it for like nonstop for 3 years. But just recently, I had a backup guitar that was it's a Fender Mexican-made Jazzmaster. It's their Classic Player series. It's nothing special, nothing crazy, but I've been playing it recently, and it's just sounding really good. So
Nice.
How do you like the neck profile on that?
I like it. It works for me. It's different. It's a lot different than the Gretsch. I feel like maybe my hand doesn't quite get as tired, especially playing chords. Maybe that's just me personally, but
Like I personally love I like most of the made in Mexico necks that they make there. I don't know why. It's just what I like. So
Yeah,
that's why I asked you what you thought, because I really enjoy what comes out of Mexico as far as Fender.
yeah, it's got some little quirks about it that I might change, but it works really well. I might try and upgrade the bridge on it at some point, the tremolo bar system.
Like a mastery bridge or something?
Yeah, something like that. There's something about the way the tremolo arm screws into the bridge. It's not like a completely secure connection. So if you get rocking on it too much, it's like it's got this like metal on metal sort of noise that can permeate through the pickups.
Right.
So you got to be careful with that. But
Dang. Well, cool. So, you said what was your third?
the third one, it's a guitar I've had for forever. It was actually my first like nice guitar that I really just can't get rid of. Even though I'll probably never play it in my life again. But it's a Carvin CT6. I don't know if you're familiar with the Carvin brand.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm out of California, so Carvin was huge
Carvin
there.
makes everything. They make amps and
Yeah, they were like a full service shop, man.
yeah.
Yep. I came across them when I was.
Is that one of the Diamond Head? Not the band, but like the Diamond Head stock style.
No, it looks a lot like a PRS, I think.
Okay.
It's a very PRS style guitar just in general. Double cutaway.
What
But I
color
got
is
that.
it?
It's called a Dragon Burst quilt top. So it's got
Holy moly.
it's got this like tannish color in the middle, and then it bursts out into like a dark red.
Oh wow, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very pretty guitar. It's it's a little too rock and roll for me, to be honest. But
Well.
It's great. I got it when I was late in high school. It was like kind of a graduation present in a way for my dad, and it was all custom built. Because I think that's how they still do their stuff. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into them in a long time, but
I'm looking at one on the internet. It kind of reminds me of a Paul Reed Smith.
for sure.
Yeah, along those lines.
Yep, the California Carve Top 6.
But what I'm looking at is beautiful though. It looks like a really nice guitar.
Yeah, it was super
Jared
nice.
was busy looking that up while you were telling everybody that it was a Paul Reed Smith, but we're glad that you found it, Jared.
Oh crap! I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
Pizza.
That's right.
Okay.
I want to know what the flavor of the week is.
So okay, let's get into these pedals, man, because these are really great. And I will say, opening up the back of these things, I was like, wow, this is some nice work. This is some really nice work.
Nice.
Anybody who pays attention to, I mean, there's like you could say that there's a porn category for everything in the world, pizza porn. Like, it's a terrible way to say that, but I mean, that's just how you got to reference it now in order for people to understand what it is that you actually mean. So if you, for some reason, haven't checked out, pedal guts or pedal porn or anything like that, it's basically just when people are showing off what's inside the pedal, and there's some really impressive, beautiful work out there, and it's really neat to see how everybody puts their own kind of signature on it. I really wish that there was a different way to say that, to be blunt, but anyhow. So let's get you talking about these pedals. How did you get into the world of like pedal building?
I started building pedals about 2013. I was about to finish up my college degree. I actually got a degree in electrical engineering from the University of Alabama. So I was always interested in the electronic world and how all that worked, and computers and programming. And I was getting into my last year of doing that, and I was playing with a band, and our lead guy needed a couple of simple things, some utility things. I think the first thing I ever built was like an A/B switcher for him to swap like acoustic electric or something like that. And I built him a simple boost pedal for that, and I built myself a Strymon favorite switch for my L cap I had at the time. I was like, man, this is awesome. This is a lot of fun. This is the perfect way to merge like my education, my technical education, with my passion for music. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I get to do both like at the same time. It's great. So I started doing it in 2013, building stuff for just friends and friends of friends, and just custom shop stuff of anything anyone asked for. I was just taking any sort of request as long as it was somewhat feasible for me at the time, and doing like water slide decals of whatever graphic someone wanted, and the whole 9 yards. And I did that for about 2 years, I'd say, until about fall of 2015. I really wanted to do something that was kind of more me, I guess you could say, something that was more personal, and something that really had my touch on it. I feel like I'd learned enough to kind of do my own thing, and so we released our first 3 pedals in the fall of 2015, I think, and that was
you went out with like 3 right out of the gate.
Yeah, man. We and there's a reason for that. I didn't. The first pedal that I ever built for this line was the Iron Drive, which is a tube screamer based overdrive, and I was like, that's not going to work. To be honest, like, I didn't want to start a new company and brand a new company and our first pedal be a tube screamer overdrive. I was like, that's not going to work. No one's going to give a flip about that.
For the record, that is one of the best sounding drives I've played.
Oh, thanks.
Like,
I appreciate
legit.
that.
I put that up against three other drives at my house, and I was like, oh, dang it. This is
it
good.
definitely has its own flavor. Definitely. It's a good drive. I liked it as well.
Yeah.
It sounded really good to my orange jams.
I really love it. I use 2 of them on my personal board, and that's pretty much all I use. I stack them if I need something bigger, but so I didn't want to just start a new company and that's all we had. I was like, no one's going to care. So we spent a little bit longer time and developed the Mineshaft reverb and the Magic City delay, and we just pounded them out, released them all at the same time. Wow. We're like, hey, we're rebranding. Swindler Effects is kind of going to its own signature stuff. We still did a little custom shop here and there, but it's like, this is a new era for us. Here's what we got. 3 pedals, covers a lot of ground. Overdrive, reverb, and delay, big staples. So, yeah, that's how we did it.
Let me ask you, who else is involved? Because you keep saying we. So I'm like, who is this other person?
Yeah, it's just me and a buddy of mine. His name's Sam Light. He just graduated from Alabama, also an electrical engineering degree. And I actually met him through my wife. Our wives were best friends, and got hooked up with him. And he does. I'm originally brought him on mainly to do graphics. He does pretty much anything that you see. Okay. The website, social media, pedal graphics, instructional inserts, stickers, all that kind of stuff. That's his work. But he does have that engineering background, so he populates the circuit boards and does that side of things and bounces ideas. And he's a big gear nerd. He plays at his church down there as well. We're very much alike.
That's pretty cool, man. No man's his own island. So it's always good to have your helpers and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. That's
for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love I love compressor pedals. I love that you're calling the compressor pedal the workers' comp. That's hilarious. Kudos there. Walk us through some of the names of these pedals. What's the idea behind the name? Obviously Mineshaft for the reverb. That's pretty rad. I can imagine that would sound pretty cool to play a guitar amp into a Mineshaft in real life.
Yeah. So all the names, the idea behind those were kind of for them to be Birmingham inspired, where I'm based out of, kind of that Birmingham industrial, blue collar sort of feel to them. That's where you get the workers' comp, and the only one that doesn't really fit in that right now is, I guess, the Magic City, but it is totally Birmingham based. Birmingham was known as the Magic City for how quickly it grew with its steel and iron industries.
Podcast. This is great.
Yeah. So, and the same for the Red Mountain, actually. The Red Mountain is kind of a landmark. It's a park here in Birmingham, but it also fits well for tremolo with the peaks and valleys of waveforms and stuff like that. So that's where it all comes from.
When I was in basic training in Fort McClellan, Alabama, which is Birmingham, I noticed the soil there was red, and I also noticed the ants were red that were biting on my hands while I was in the grass.
Those ants are mean.
Yep, some fire ants.
Oh yeah, yep. I remember that quite well.
Yeah, I remember my dad used to live in Atlanta, and I'll never forget seeing red dirt for the first time and just being so confused.
Yeah. It's cool though. My folks live in Georgia, Lake Oconee.
Cool.
Anyways, oh wow, okay, so we all like red dirt.
Yeah, we're talking about dirt.
So yeah, the workers' comp. Let's kind of get into each one of these little pedals here.
Yeah.
Maybe from a point of not necessarily timeline, but how you might see them on the board.
I typically run my compressor first. I like to have a nice, stable, sustaining signal feeding into my drives. But I actually don't use high levels of compression, so it could be totally different for someone else. I actually don't like it to sound squished. I don't like it to ruin my dynamics of my picking. So I actually just use it very lightly enough to add sustain on longer held notes. But the workers' comp can get squishy for sure. I mean, it can get real chicken picking squishy on it. without adding as much noise as a lot of compressors, which I really am a noise stickler as much as I can be. But
so on the workers' comp, what was your? Did you add anything to it that might be sort of like, hey, I've seen 100 comps before, like 100 compressors. What did you do different? Did you do anything different?
Something I did do that I just wanted personally was the and it's not a new idea. It's been done a couple times, but the bright switch on it,
Mm-hmm.
I actually really enjoy personally. A lot of times when you start adding a little, medium to high compression, it starts squishing and it sounds kind of muddy. No, or not muddy, but you lose that high sparkle. And it's not a new concept, but just putting a bright switch on there to bring those highs back in, even when you are at those larger compressed settings, really just brings the highs to your guitar back.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's also worth saying that when you use these pedals, when you play with them, you obviously have like really, really high quality components on them, all aluminum knobs. And also with the soft, the soft touch foot switch, which we're just seeing so much more of now, which is really great, I think.
Yeah, I like the tightness when you feel when you turn the knobs. That's something I really like on pedals.
Yeah, and the soft touch switching is something. Most of these pedals came out of kind of my personal needs. That's where a lot of them started, and like I've said before, me playing in church primarily, where I play is pretty small, or at least it's not small, but it's very close and kind of intimate. And those big, chunky mechanical switches just don't work for situations like that. Yeah. I mean, you can hear them. You can hear them 10, 15 rows back, and it's just like, it's not going to work. So I knew right off the bat anything we made was going to have soft touch switching on it. So we started with that, and we'll continue to do that.
So the iron drive, really quick. Anything extra special that you want to throw in? I think you do have a switch on there. Hey, can you hand me the?
Yeah.
I do really love this pedal. It's quite nice.
Yeah. So
you got a three-way switch on it.
Yep, it's got a 3-way diode clipping switch, and a separate bass and treble control is really all it is. And we did some different tweaks on some of the values, but I mean overall it's a TS-808 sort of clone, but just with a couple of those features with the soft touch switching. And for whatever reason, I feel like I don't really know why, but with the components that we tweaked when I was breadboarding it just seems to have more of an open characteristic to it. I don't really know how to explain it, but a little more. I hate the word transparent, but it's not as colored. Like your different guitars still sound like themselves through it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because I think that one of the things that I have trouble with tube screamers are that I feel like it colors my sound. It feels like it goes. It just like a layer of color just goes over it, and that's what I appreciated on this one, because I actually have a Tube Screamer Mini pedal, which sound. I mean, if you close your eyes and you clicked on a bunch of different ones, you really. You just can't tell a difference. Actually, that pedal show just they've got a video where they go through the different kinds of tube screamers, and they were climbing all over this Mini. That said, it just has a tone control, and tone controls are cool, but they're also they can be rather limiting in what you're actually getting out of it. So having an individual bass and treble on that was pretty nice, and the clipping switch was kind of unique too. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. So then, what do we got next in the boxes over here, fellas?
Red Mountain. Oh boy, yeah, that one is our newest, and that one has kept us so busy. It's by far our biggest undertaking. So it's a fully analog signal path, digitally controlled tremolo.
There are 6 jacks in this, just so everybody understands.
and it's in your 125B enclosure.
Yeah. 6
They're all
jacks, 5 knobs, a 3-way switch, a momentary foot switch, and a standard on-off foot switch, and 3 LEDs.
Yeah, when I pulled that open, I was like...
That's like a Winnebago.
When I saw it, I tremoloed.
Hey.
No, the goal behind that was I wanted to make a tremolo pedal that was fairly affordable and did everything that I would ever want a tremolo pedal to do.
Yeah.
But not take up a lot of real estate, because in the end, it's still quote unquote just a tremolo pedal. I mean, for the most part, it's not the staple of most people's sound.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to take up half my board space with a wide double-sized enclosure for a stereo trim, you know. So make it small, give it tap tempo, give it as many features as I would want.
Yep.
And that's where we landed. And
so I think it's worth. I just want to jump in on the you've got your standard sort of trem knobs, but then you've got talk about the 2 less standard trem knobs that you have here.
Like the subdivisions and waveforms.
Right.
Yeah. So there's 6 subdivisions. I'm trying to picture it in my head. 6 subdivisions and 5 waveforms. So because it's a tap tempo tremolo, you can tap into the tempo of your song, and depending on how you want it to modulate, you can set the division to like 16th notes or 8th notes, dotted 8th, triplets, quarter notes. But then you've got waveforms you can select between sine, triangle, square wave, ramp up, which is like a sawtooth up, ramp down, which is kind of a reverse sawtooth, and then there's a stutter mode, which is a little unique as well.
I did like that stutter.
Yeah, it actually turns the tap tempo switch into like a momentary kill switch for like Morse code type stuttering through. If you wanted to just like hit a giant chord with like oscillating reverb and delay before it, and then just like tap to your heart's content at some random rhythm, it's a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. That's
the
way I like using. I 2 ways that I like using a trem. One is for kind of a very obvious trem. I do mostly rhythm, so like you're gonna know a trem's on if I'm playing the rhythm with it. Mm-hmm. But then I love the idea of punching in a momentary trem.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of other little special features in that pedal. There's an onboard preset that you can save 1 preset on there. There's an expression jack that you can control the speed or depth knob with an external expression, or you can change the mode on it, and you can activate your preset externally with like a Strymon favorite switch or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's an external tap switch or tap jack, and we also did kind of a simulation of a Leslie type speaker. Mm-hmm. So if you hold the tap switch, it'll ramp the tempo up until you let it go. And if you hold it again, it'll slow the tempo down until you let it go as well.
This is a highly, highly functional pedal in a standard pedal enclosure for a standard pedal price, people.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
done.
It took a lot of time.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine what it takes to like, I love the idea of like, yes, we did it. Oh my gosh, we have to build 200 of these.
Yeah, that was the next step.
No. I got to demo that a little longer.
We released that in like November, and I think like 2 weeks ago we just got caught up on all of our like orders that kind of just kept coming in. I mean, they didn't all come in November and December, but I think we finally kind of cleared out all the queue on that one.
Man, well, it's pretty stellar. Let's move on to the Magic City.
Yeah, so Magic City was one of the original 3 that we released. Nothing crazy special on that one, but what I did want to do with that is have a tap tempo delay in that sized enclosure. The same size enclosure as all the other ones. Because at that time, I think there was only one other one on the market at all that was tap tempo and it was that size. And so that's what we set out to do. And we got it working in there. It's your standard PT 2399 delay chip that everyone and their brother uses. But I
got a bowl full of them at my counter. I don't know.
Just eat them for breakfast. Yeah, they're all over the place. But so it's a digital delay that's kind of analog voiced, is what everyone dubs it as. And we actually, I tuned the filtering in it in a way where you can actually coax 1,000 milliseconds of delay out of it. But you have to filter it, and it gets really dark. I mean, it's a dark delay. You can turn the filter knob up, and it can get brighter. But if you're running those longer delay times and you have the filter up, you're getting some noise artifacts from that delay chip because it's just not meant to go in those ranges. So it's there if you want it. Some people like that noise and they use it in different ways, that crackling and sputtering motorboating sort of noise. But some people like it. But if you want to get a long delay time, you can filter it back and get it real dark, and it'll get rid of all that. But it is a dark delay. But tap tempo, 3 subdivisions, quarter note, dotted eighth, and eighth note. And yeah.
So when you're looking at this pedal and you don't have the handy instructions that came in a box, which was actually pretty nice. You kind of have them like cards, like easy to read, like here's how to use this thing. This one's got 3 jacks on it. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so you've got an input jack, output jack, and a external tap tempo. Because, a lot of people who have multiple time delay pedals have like one single tap controller they want to control and sync all their delays with. So you're seeing that more and more nowadays, where things really need to have external jacks to control the tap tempo so they can sync up to these controllers or whatever. So
cool.
Nice. And then I think finally, yes. I think this might have been my favorite. I played this. This is the one that I really ended up spending a lot of time with, which was the Mine Shaft.
Cool. Thanks, man. The Mine Shaft is our reverb pedal. It's built off of the tried and true Belton reverb brick. Again, there's a lot of things that are out there with that, but to put a spin on it, we wanted to have a preset. So what we did is we've got those dual stacked knobs. They're like concentric knobs. And so you've got a preset that uses the bottom set of knobs, and you hit one of the soft touch foot switches, and it goes to your top set of knobs.
It's so smart. Really like that.
I had a lot of fun with this one, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got a different preset that swaps between 2 different reverb and tone controls, and then you've got a universal feedback knob that kind of changes how long the reverb dwells, kind of how long it lingers around. And then we've got a little bit of a kind of hidden feature where if you hold down the bypass switch, it'll kind of instantly short out the feedback knob and throw it into oscillation. Depending on where the level of your reverb is. If your reverb's really low, it'll take forever to get it there because it's not recirculating a large reverb signal. But if your reverb's kind of higher and you hold that foot switch down, it'll boost into oscillation, and just it's really cool to just hold it out and let it make a crazy delay sort of oscillating noise.
That's rad. I also noticed that I think a lot of pedal builders tend to say, all right, we're going to figure out a way to do it, and this is going to be the way that we do all of our pedals, whether that is in graphics or knob style or configuration. Like if you get a particular builder's knob or pedal, is like, okay, well, those are the same knobs you're going to get on every single pedal. Like electro harmonics. Those knobs are the worst. But anyways, whatever. So one thing I noticed was that, like, you didn't really hold to that. You've got top jacks and side jacks, and you've got power on the side. You got power, I think, on the bottom on one, and power on the top, which I think at first glance, when I have all these pedals, the first thing I thought was like, well, geez, you didn't put very much thought into that now, did you? Now, I realized that it was a very short-sighted thing to think, because you obviously put a ton of thinking into these, and you didn't hold yourself to some rule for no reason. Mm-hmm. So that was what worked best for the pedals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I enjoy uniformity. Personally, I do. I like things to kind of be similar, but especially in the first couple pedals we did, the way the circuit boards, sometimes they just kind of lay themselves out and they just work best in a certain configuration. And on a lot of those, the way the circuit board itself got laid out and the components we were using, it just lent itself to certain jack configurations that fit around that better. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then you have the new one coming out. And
yes.
When do you think that'll be out?
I would like to open pre-orders for that middle of April. I would like to start shipping some stuff out end of April, probably. I'm trying to get it into the hands of a couple of people to test, just to make sure there aren't any code bugs or anything like that, rear their heads when people start messing with it in ways that I never think about. But it's all working, it's all functional, and it's ready to go. I just got to get some ready.
Awesome.
That was a ton of pedals to go through, and I'm happy that you indulged us to go, and go through all the details of each one of them. I encourage people who are not familiar with these, take a quick look on Instagram or on his website and get familiar with these. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, I saw on one of your cards you talked about. Let's see here, which one was that? I think it was the Red Mountain, where you were talking about we will accomplish our goal. Tell us more about that. What is your goal with these pedals?
Man, our goal is just to make the best stuff we can. Make it as quality as we can, as small as we can, as functional as we can, best sounding. But we're not really, right now, we're not constrained by market pressure or stuff like that. We're just two dudes with electrical engineering degrees and a couple of soldering irons in a basement, and we just make stuff that we like, and we make it as good as we can. So that's our goal, and
cool.
Hopefully people jump on board and like it, but we're just gonna make the best stuff we can.
In saying that, where are you heading with your pedals? Anything new and anything different coming up?
Aside from the one that you're already working on,
right? Is there like a long-term kind of there's a long-term goal, or is there something even bigger in the future?
A little bit. There's kind of a direction, I guess, and that direction would be, I'm not the most creative person in the world, and I'll fully admit that. So as far as like coming up with new and unique and cool sounds and pedals that have done stuff you've never even thought of, that's not really me, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So what I like to do is take like tried and true stuff that sounds good, tweak it, maybe make it a little bit better, but I like the functionality side of things, making it as useful as it possibly could be. Get the most functionality out of something that you enjoy. So I think y'all talked about him before on your show, but like Chase Bliss, his stuff, he's like my pedal idol if I had one. Guy's nuts. The way he can interface and control every single parameter of an analog circuit, keeping it analog, mind you, is amazing. So
I think he's that person for an awful lot of builders.
I believe it. He deserves to be it. But I would like Swindler to get to a point where it's like offering that dumbed down to a sense. If you want all that stuff and you want every control parameter, go with his stuff by all means. But I want it to be a lot of digital control and the ability to have presets and have the most usability out of a pedal as you can, but maybe at a lower price point, maybe a little bit more approachable. Something that people can understand right off the bat a little bit quicker and easier to pick up, but not sacrificing anything.
I could see. I feel like there's a niche there, sort of to pitch digital control, analog signal path.
Yeah, and that's the Red Mountain is really where we got into that the most, for sure.
Yeah, the bells and whistles are unbelievable on these things, man.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of other pedals I've tried.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there speaking of the Red Mountain, at least that I'm aware of, that's a digital control with an analog signal path. It's usually either all analog or all digital, and not a whole lot of combination of the two. And I know, at least from my industry in recording, only in the last decade or so have you seen some compressor manufacturers that have started to do that, to manufacture compressors for studio recording that are digitally controlled, but it's an all analog signal path.
Yeah, for sure. And there are reasons for that. It's not a problem for like some of the bigger companies. They got engineers on deck like crazy, but especially for the booming boutique pedal world, it's harder to do. Yeah. I mean, the digital coding is a lot harder to pick up on the internet and read about. You can read forum after forum and find schematics on simple analog circuits like crazy. You can build an overdrive like you can Legos. It's no problem, but to actually get in there and code something.
Yeah, the design of that's where you were, when we spoke previously to this, you really lit up when you were talking about how much you enjoyed the design aspect of not, please don't, listeners, don't confuse design with like how this pedal looks. We're talking about actual sound design and electronic, signal paths and stuff. So that's where you were like really geeking out on.
Yeah, I love the programming side.
Yeah.
So really tweaking things to do as much stuff as I can with them by doing some sort of microcontroller coding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, cool. Like I said, I really appreciate you going through all the fine details with that. We're going to jump into our wrap-up segment called... Chris, that's your cue.
Would you rather?
Rather.
I have an effect. I can put that on. But that one works out great. Let's just do that effect. Okay, Chris.
Would you rather? This is a guitar-related game. One single question. We'll go around the circle and answer. Would you rather be the best live guitarist in history, but absolutely the worst studio guitarist ever, or the best studio guitarist in history, but one of the worst live guitarists ever? So no matter what, you're terribly embarrassed when put in the wrong situation.
Yeah.
Are you always put in both situations?
Yes. It's your time is split 50-50 between these two things.
Okay, we'll go to Jared first and give Drew a break because he's been talking a long time. Jared, go.
I would rather
TikTok.
be the best studio. I'd rather be the best studio musician ever, man.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Wait a minute. Why did I just say that? I
don't
wanted
know.
the opposite. I want to be the best.
You already chose. It's too late.
Oh, man.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't know why I said that. I would rather be the best performer ever and be the worst studio. I mean, look back on the Wrecking Crew. Nobody knew who the heck those guys were for years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd rather have the recognition of being a fantastic live musician.
Okay.
Guitar player.
All right. Chris.
I would have to go with studio, because the studio you can outlive your expiration date. You can continue to create music.
Well played.
Post-death and while you're sleeping. That's just cool.
Yep.
And you can always fake it live.
Okay.
That's true.
All right, Drew.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the studio side as well. I'm trying to think of a good reason for that, really, but I feel like the creativity is a little bit open there. You're not stuck to playing the same thing the same way on a live stage for an audience who's expecting the same thing.
Interesting angle.
Yeah, I feel like being a studio guitarist, you're really more of you bring the creative ideas to light. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to explore that more.
As for me, let's see. It's so tough. No, it isn't. Not at all. Best live musician.
Hey, there we go.
I do play live, and the idea of being the worst live is terrifying. Like it is an incredibly hard thing to do at times. Not always, but it's. I mean, you're up there. The stage doesn't lie. You are absolutely, completely vulnerable, and at the same time all powerful, and that's a crazy rush.
Yeah.
So definitely 100% best live performer.
It's a good way to put it. All powerful but completely vulnerable.
It's a tough question, man, because there's not a better feeling in the world to be on stage with your guitar strapped on. I mean, that is a fantastic feeling.
I can think of a few, but
well, come on, man. This is Guitar Knobs, not something else. But the studio thing too. What a fantastic would you rather, man.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say not a better feeling than stand on stage with a pizza in your hand.
Okay,
see,
well, let's not talk
there.
about pizza.
I would go off that and back up my studio position here. I think there's not a better feeling than to get done in the studio and say, I made something, and that is sticking around.
I agree with that. Doing things in the studio are so satisfying, and it's so much fun, but it is very forgiving, unlike the stage.
Yeah, well, but the stage, the moment comes and goes.
Yes.
In the studio, that moment is there for maybe eternity.
Yeah. I still get goosebumps when I listen to stuff that I recorded ages ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's timeless.
I also get cringe moments when I see stuff that I've played live before. Anyways, all right, guys, thank you so much, Drew, for hanging out with us. Glad you got to be a knob for a little while, and I mean, once a knob, always a knob. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, our door is always open anytime you want to hit us up. As soon as you got something new to drop on us, please let us know.
Yeah.
And
will do.
Tell everybody where they can find you, get in touch with you, contact you, buy your stuff, etc.
Yeah, well, we've got swindlereffects.com is our website. We got a contact page on there. Like I said, it's just me and a buddy of mine who run it, so you're going to get one of us that respond. We usually respond as quick as we can. We got a couple of dealers around the U.S. Instagram is where we update the most. As far as the newest stuff that we're doing, we push that to Facebook and Twitter sometimes, not as much, but Instagram's the place. Website, you can check us out.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everybody who's been listening all around the world, and subscribe!
Yeah.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit us at our website at theguitarknobs.com for episodes, news, and guest profiles. You can get all social with us on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/guitarknobs. Give us a tweet at guitar_knobs. And check out our gallery on Instagram at guitarknobs.